As of today, there are over 5 million musicians who are currently using MuseScore, the free music notation software. And I believe in the near future that this number will grow to over 10 million musicians who will be using the software. And I think this because of the new additions that they have added with the release of version 3.6. So in today's video, I wanted to dive deeper into these improvements that MuseScore has made to the software. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see what instruments have been added in the new improved version. Now, MuseScore has come out with a video that details some of the improvements they have made to the software, and they seem to be dubbing this release as the engravings release. The reason for this is because they have improved the layout and the formatting of the software, mainly with the fonts and the notations that they use. So I want to have MuseScore open here to show you the difference. And I opened up a score that was in the older fonts and the old notation style. And so this is, again, how you are used to seeing MuseScore. And then I have another one open here that shows you the new texts that they have. So the biggest change is really the time they've spent into the Leland notation. And that's how the notes appear and the staff appears. So again, if you look at the notes, and especially like the treble clef, they show how much time they spent even just getting that treble clef to look the way it does. You can see the difference between the old version and then the new version. Now that Leland notation font was inspired by a software called Score. The notation looks and feels a lot like notation that you would see in something like a Boosey and Hawkes edition. I personally really enjoy the look and feel of the new notation, and again, the reason I think so many more people are going to start using this is because of the more professional look and feel overall, and the fact that this is a free software that you can use will make all the difference going forward. So again, I think Martin Keary and Simon Smith did a fantastic job in designing the new notation for the software. The next biggest change in the software is that they have a new typeface that they're using, and it's called the Edwind typeface. And again, you can see the old type was the free serif. And again, you can always change back to the old type if you enjoy that. But I personally really enjoy the look and feel of the new typeface. Again, everything overall has like a width and a breadth about it that makes it feel more open. And again, as a professional musician myself and a pianist and a composer, making things clear is very important for when I'm notating things on the staff. So again, the new typeface is the Edwind typeface. And again, you can see the difference between the two. The Edwind typeface was inspired by the New Century Schoolbook font, and now MuseScore has the rights to, again, the Edwind typeface. If you have watched the release video by MuseScore, you will notice that they began by showing you that they have a new and improved vertical layout system. And so I just wanted to show that briefly. So if you go to Edit and then Instruments, what they have added is this new ordering drop-down bar. And so basically, as you add your instruments, any instrument that you add will be put over to the right-hand side. And now you can have the custom, which is what it used to be set at. But now they have these really, really helpful layouts and ordering systems for each kind of music that you're creating. So let's say those instruments, I wanted to have it in a brass band layout. It put it in the order for a brass band. Let's say I wanted to have a orchestral layout. It ended up being the same, but this, as a composer, this is extremely helpful because I don't always have time to go back and remember exactly what order instruments go whenever I'm making the music. And this will save anybody who's using MuseScore will save you a lot of time, and it'll be especially good for beginning composers because now you'll have the proper layout, and so musicians and maybe conductors who are receiving your scores will be very comfortable with the scores that you are sending in. The other nice thing about the new ordering system is that when you press OK, everything is spaced really nicely. And so you don't have to worry as much about these breaks and spacers that before you used to have to, drag and drop these in between. And if you do have those, spacers, when you apply the new font, you'll have to delete those so that the old spacers, so that it will show in the correct, space that you would like. It's funny because I actually didn't find out about the new MuseScore release until I tried to open up my MuseScore. Was using version 3.5, and I went to open it and it kept crashing, and it had never crashed before. So I figured I should uninstall the current version of 3.5, and then I went to the website and saw that they had a new version 3.6, and that's how I learned about their release. I'm not sure if they're related, that the 3.5 didn't work because of the release. But anyways, I did want to show you, though, if you're having problems with MuseScore, if 3.5 or 3.6, if it's crashing on you often, what you want to do is, what worked for me is just, uninstalling every component of MuseScore and then reinstalling the new one with Fresh. But if you're doing that, make sure that you save your scores ahead of time. And so I've got a folder open here. So usually, if the default, I think, is typically put into your documents. And so if you've got scores from MuseScore, you want to look for documents and then MuseScore 3. And then right there, they have the scores folder. So you want to make sure that you take that folder and then copy it either to your hard drive or, to the cloud. And then you'll have those scores available when you do the Fresh install. So that's one thing you want to make sure. And any other plugins, if you've installed plugins, you want to have those backed up as well, so that when you do the Fresh install, you can just change these folders and then it'll work the way you hope it will. So we covered the orchestration ordering improvement. And also another interesting thing with the orchestration is that now you can also set a instrument to soloist. So basically you would select let's say I go back to custom, and then I select which part that I'm working on, and then I just click make soloists. And now when I press OK, it will be ordered correctly, and the spacing will be correct with the soloist instrument that you selected. So again, this is another time saver with all those breaks and spacers that you used to have to add for things like soloists. For jazz musicians and composers, there is a new font, and it is a jazz font. Let's see if I can find it here. So you will notice that there is a new jazz font, and it's Petaluma. And so they've got script. So there you can see at the top. I changed the top title to the Petaluma. And then there's another one that's it looks like it's bolded. So again, I think another great addition to this software is the new jazz text that you can use for titles. You can also use it for text for the lyrics as well. So you just look down, go over to text, and then go to your inspector element, and then you can just find Petaluma, and then it'll change the text for that as well. So again, another great improvement is the new jazz font that they have added to the software. So here is the announcement page that MuseScore released. And again, this goes into detail, some of the things we talked about in this video. They talked about, different engraving fixes that they have included in this rollout. And again, this is going to help with the streamlining the operation of the software when you're using it. And then they've got, some notes about if you're doing a music XML import, then you want to take note of this so that you can, you might need to do this option at the bottom where you need to choose format, reset, text, style, overrides, and so forth. While I'm talking about that, when you're using the new MuseScore, what will happen is, let's say I want to open up a new or an old file. So I'm opening up an old file, and it'll ask me at the beginning if I would like to change to the new and improved notation Leland or the new and improved font, and then you can remember that choice as well. And then so what will happen is you just check those two boxes, apply the new style, and then it'll show in the again those newer fonts that we talked about. So back to the website that they announced the releases on. You can check out that page, and then they've got the video as well. I'll put links to these in the description below. And here's the release notes also. This is a different page that they have shown the different things. And so again, I was hoping that you'd stay to the end of the video so you can see that they've added a mountain dulcimer instrument and 3-string tab presets. So again, I've seen people ask questions about 3-string tabs, and so it's nice to have a preset for that now in the new MuseScore. Here they also cover many of the improvements they have made to this. I wanted to show you the improved functionality and appearance of the Add Palettes button. So one thing I noticed whenever I opened up the new MuseScore is that up here at the Add Palettes, you have search, which they've had before. So you click that for search, and it can find a palette or something in a palette. And then here they have this drop down here that you can open only one palette at a time, or you can expand all the palettes. If I click this, it will open up all the palettes and so you can see it all at once. So that makes it a little easier. You can collapse it as well. So that's another improvement to MuseScore 3. Lastly, you'll also notice that the export process has been streamlined. So when you go up to File and then Export, you can export things as a PDF file, and so they have these drop-down menus for what you would like to do. If you want the full score, or if you have parts that are linked to the score, you can do that as well. They give you different resolutions that you can use, which again can be helpful if you want to keep your files smaller, or if you want to increase the size for really high quality files for sharing with others. And again, so the export process I find has improved with the different options that they've given you. Again, I find overall the more options you have as a user, typically the better the experience is, especially if it's user-friendly like the interface they have done with MuseScore 3. So I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of the new release of MuseScore 3.6. And the additions, again, I believe have made it something that many musicians will continue to use, and that new musicians will find this software and begin to see how helpful it is in composing different pieces of music and then setting that to sheet music. I have other MuseScore 3 tutorials available on this channel, so you'll want to subscribe so that you can see whenever I post a new video on how to do something in MuseScore, especially when they have updates like this. I can keep you informed with the things you want to pay attention to and things that you might need to get used to in any new release. So I thank you, and I hope to see you in another video.